Wasn't recording.
When I hit escape, it stopped the other video.
Oh,
So I'm gonna have to combine them two
all
together or
right.
whatever. But anyways, basically it says quit. So basically the man who owns that has to give like some type of money or payment for what had happened and things like that. But let's go to the next verse, verse 29.
But if the ox were wont to push with his horn in pastime, and it has been testified to his owner, and he has not kept him in, but that he has killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and his owner also shall be put to death.
So it's letting you know. So if this man, the owner of this ox, purposely is making this ox do stuff against its own will to kill somebody and things like that, that ox will be put to death, and also the owner and things. So that's dealing with mischief again and things like that. But let's get verse. Keep reading.
Verse 30. If there be laid on him a sum of money, then he shall give for the ransom of his life whatsoever is laid upon him. Rather he have gored a son or have gored a daughter, according to this judgment shall it be done unto him.
So it's letting us know right here there's a ransom. So the person, the family member basically, who's been whose son, daughter, or other family member that was killed by this oxen, okay? This is somewhat in a mercy type of thing. So sometimes you didn't have to give life for life. This time, okay, well, you give some money or something to, repay for what had happened. So in instance, so somebody, if they flee, like it tells you, it divides up certain cities for a manslayer and things like that. So in this case, it's letting us know there's a mercy time that that person who doesn't want to do blood for blood, eye for eye, tooth for tooth and stuff, they could give a ransom that they could put on that man who's the owner of that ox, that they have to pay that individual instead of doing a certain judgment of death on them. That's why it's letting us know right here that whether he have gored a son or have gored a daughter, according to this judgment shall it be done unto him. Keep reading. Verse 32.
Verse 32. If the ox shall push a manservant or a maidservant, he shall give unto their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned.
So a maidservant or a manservant, so they have to give money also on this aspect with a man or a maidservant to the master. They have to pay money and things like that. So that's letting us know right there. It's still in the same context. It's one law, but it's telling you the different instructions of what happens in that sense. So let's go to verse. Let's get the next law here. 33. Yeah. This would be the 14th law.
And if a man shall open a pit, or if a man shall dig a pit, and not cover it, and an ox or an ass fall therein, the owner of the pit shall make it good, and give money unto the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his.
So letting you know right here, if any man that digs a pit, a long pit, it could have been for who knows what. Like, for instance, maybe it was a pit to use the bathroom or something. I don't know. Anything, or to put away, sin offerings or whatever the case may be, or anything. I'm just saying for an example. If that animal falls in and it dies, it breaks its bones or whatever the case may be and things, and it's a long drop, then they have to give money onto the owner of the beast and everything. But let's see what else it says. Go to 35.
Verse 35. And if one man's ox hurt another, that he die, that then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money of it, and the dead ox also they shall divide.
Read that one more time, man.
And if one man's ox hurt another's, that he die, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money of it, and the dead ox also they shall divide.
So see, you have to give, if your ox kills somebody else's ox, you got to give money for that, and then you guys divide bothly equally the dead ox. So for food and things, flesh. Okay, let's keep reading.
Verse 36. Or if it be known that the ox has used to push in pastime, and his owner has not kept him in, he should surely pay ox for ox, and the dead shall be his own.
So basically, let him know if the man the owner purposely wanted to hit that other man's ox dead and things, he would purposely ram his ox into that bull, kill it and stuff. And now what he would have to do, he had to pay a ransom, or not a ransom, but he had to pay the owner for that ox. So you have to come out of money because you did something, once again, wickedly and stuff. So that's and then he would give the live ox to the owner plus the payment and stuff, and then the man that did it, he would take the dead ox off the other owner. So that man will get not only payment, but also your ox that you led it to kill, this other man's ox. See that? So simple little things. But let's get the next law. Let's go to Exodus chapter 22 and start at verse 1. This is concerning on the law of a thief. So 22 and verse 1.
Exodus chapter 22, verse 1. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore it 5 ox for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep.
1 second. So this is the 15th law. And it's letting us know right here, if a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. So letting us know. So if you take anything from somebody and they catch you, then they shall they shall go ahead and give times 4. So for an ox, it'd be 5 oxen for 1 ox that he's stolen, and then 4 sheep for 1 sheep that he stole. And there's actually a parable in 2 Samuel chapter 12 when Nathan came and explained that to King David for what he did when he coveted and things like that. So anyways, verse 2.
If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him.
If a thief be found breaking up and the word breaking up is talking about if he's caught stealing, burgling and stuff, and be smitten that he died, there shall no blood be shed for him. So if you caught a thief in the midst of doing what they're thieving from you, you ended up killing him or whatever, or shedding his blood, there won't be eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, blood for blood, life for life. Okay, but go ahead. Verse 3.
Verse 3. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him. For he shall make full restitution if he have nothing. Then he shall be sold for his theft.
So basically, he has to give full restitution, full payment for what he's stolen, whatever the value of that, times 4, or depending on what he's stolen. So he has to be sold as basically a servant. So he has to pay that off and things like that. So that's exactly what he's supposed to do if you catch a thief. Okay, but let's keep reading.
Verse 4. If the thief be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore it double.
So he should restore onto it double, plain and simple, if it's alive. So he's supposed to restore it double. But if it's killed in the beginning, I believe, if it's killed, then he has to restore 4 for the sheep and then 5 for an oxen. But if it's found alive, then he has to pay double the price for a live ox or sheep. Go ahead.
Verse 5. If a man shall cause a field...
Oh, wait 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is the 16th law, Exodus 22 and 5. Go ahead.
22 verse 5.
Yep.
If a man shall cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, and he shall put in his beast, and shall feed in another man's field, of the best of his own field, and of the best of his own vineyard, shall he make restitution.
So if you're owning crops and stuff, and you allow your animals to go into another man's land, basically, or property, and they start eating away at their crops and things like that, then you have to give full payment for what they're eating and stuff. Okay, it's a balance. It's equality. What's right, what's wrong is wrong. So this is what we have. So when we have these vineyards and things, when you do own land and you have people coming in, with their animals and they're eating your stuff, they got to give payment for what they're eating, because that's your bread and butter. You dig? Let's keep reading.
Verse 6, if fire break out and catch in thorns, so that the stacks of corn or the standing corn or the field be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire shall surely make restitution.
So if a fire break out and catch in thorns, so that the stacks of corn, the standing. So basically, if you have a pile of, you know, dead wood and things like that, or whatever the case may be, you're burning it, and all of a sudden you got little stuff going on, and the wind is taking it basically, and it goes into somebody's crops, and it starts burning and catches the field on fire and things. Now you're burning the crops. You still have to give payment for what's burning. Okay. So with that being said, you need to be cautious and pay attention to what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to mess around and be burning up people's stuff that you're going to have to come out of your pockets for. Okay? So, what verse was that?
6.
Or, excuse me, 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go to the... Exodus chapter, well, it's 22 and verse 7. This is the 18th law.
If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double.
So read that again.
If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double.
So basically, if you lend or you're giving stuff to hold down for me, you know what I'm saying? If I'm allowing you to hold this down, and a thief come along and things, and they take whatever it be, that man, or excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. If the thief be found, let him pay double. So basically, if you catch the thief that does it and things like that, the thief has to pay it. Okay. So the man, so if I give him to borrow my money, let's say $25 to hold down for me, just hold it for me. And all of a sudden, you know, somebody comes in his car and breaks in and takes the money and stuff, and he catches him and things like that. That man has to pay double because we caught the thief. But let's see what else it says. Keep reading.
If the thief be not found, then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judges to see whether he have put his hand unto his neighbor's goods.
So basically saying somebody might lie. So if I give you a lot of money or something very valuable, hold down, and all of a sudden it's gone, you know what I'm saying? Now we have to put it in front of the judges to see, well, wait a second. I trusted you to do this. You gave me your word you'll watch this and things like that. Now all of a sudden it's gone and there's no thief and things. So we're going to think that maybe you might have coveted what he wanted. So you're breaking the commandments and you're breaking this law. So it's like, you know, you're the thief. You steal it. You see what I'm saying? So that's the other law. But let's keep, what verse was that, 9?
8.
8, I'm sorry. Okay, verse 9.
Yep. Verse 9. For all manner of trespass, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost thing, which another challenge to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor.
So it's letting you know right there. So, you know, when the judges execute righteous judgment, balanced judgment and things, to find out who's lying and things, they're going to have to pay double for whatever it was given on to, you know, such and such to hold down and to hold until, you know, whenever they come back asking for it. So that was 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get the 19th law. Exodus 22, verse 10 through 13.
If a man deliver unto his neighbor an ass or an ox or a sheep or any beast to keep, and it die or be hurt or driven away, no man seeing it. Verse 11, then shall an oath of the Most High be between them both, that he has not put his hand unto his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good.
Keep reading.
And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. And if it be torn in pieces, then let him bring it for witness, and he shall not make good that which was torn.
Okay. So basically, it's like reimbursing. You're giving once again, you're giving your your neighbor something to hold down. Now this time it's dealing with animals. So if any of these things happen, once again, that neighbor of yours that was holding it down, they have to give repayment for that and everything, and they have to hold that down and stuff for whatever they were holding down. So if you're gonna take care of my sheep and stuff, and I come back and stuff is messed up or whatever, you're gonna have to pay out of your money, out of your own pockets, to sit there and pay on what's owed. Let's read that one more time though.
Yeah.
Verse 10.
If a man deliver unto his neighbor an ass or an ox or a sheep or any beast to keep, and it die or be hurt or driven away, no man seeing it, then shall an oath of the Most High be between them both, that he has not put his hand unto his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good. And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitutions unto the owner thereof. If it be torn in pieces, then let him bring it for a witness, and he shall not make good that which was torn.
So, once again, they want you to swear by the Most High's name. That's what taking the name, you breaking that commandment by taking the Most High's name in vain. You should not be held guiltless on the day of judgment and stuff. So if you're going to lie on, that's the oath. Like, okay, talking about I swear to God, this, that, and the fourth, and you swearing by the Most High's name. So that's the oath. The Most High is hearing that. But if you break that, you're in a lot of trouble. Okay? So it's letting you know, because you got wolves and wild animals that come in and eat, your livestock and things. So this is what you have to do. So people have to be on point, taking care of the animals and things. That's another thing. Being a shepherd, you got to protect your flock from wild animals, the wolves and things like that. Okay, this all falls into being a shepherd, and why the prophets were shepherds. Why the Bible's a shepherd, why we the sheep and things like that. So, anyways, let's get the next law, the 20th law, verse 14, chapter and verse.
Exodus chapter 22, verse 14. And if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt or die, the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. Verse 15. But if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. If it be in hire thing, it came for his hire.
I'm sorry, read that again.
And if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt or die, the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. But if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. If it be in hire thing, it came for his hire.
So it's letting you know, as an owner, you got to stay responsible to this man's stuff, that you're holding it down and things like that. So you have to be around, like you give your word, I'm going to keep my eye on this. Okay, keep your eye on it. If you don't do it, then you're going to have to pay for it. That's why it says make it good. So you got to make it good between your own brethren and stuff. Okay, however you do it, whatever you guys agree to it, that's how you have to make it good. But if you're there, like it says, but if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. If it be an hired thing, it came for his hire. So it was payment. So he was there and things like that. That's not really his fault for what happens and things like that. So we have to like it says, for an hire. So it's for a cost. But let's get verse 16. And if this is the 21st law. Go ahead.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endure her to be his wife.
So basically it's saying, if a man entice a virgin, a young woman, someone who's not betrothed, that's not courting with anybody, and she's feeling what he's saying and she likes what he says, she allows him to humble her and stuff. So if they lay down together, if they have sex, then he has to marry her. It's an endowment. So, he needs to endow her to be his wife. But let's see what else it says. Go ahead.
Verse 17. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
So you have to get the blessing from the father in order to, really make her your wife and things upon that. But if the father says no, then you're supposed to give a dowry for a virgin and things because you already laid with her, you know, and it's letting us know that that basically you laid with her already and things, but you really didn't get the blessing of the father. So if the father says, no, I didn't want you to be a husband to him, and it kind of sounds like he's making her like, you know, like a, I don't want to say a whore, but, you know, you've already laid with her. So if the father says, no, I didn't want you to be, you know, my son-in-law or whatever, you need to give a dowry for that. But it also says in a sense, too, when if you find a woman who's not a virgin and stuff, and basically the father lies, then they got to give money, vice versa, back to you because she wasn't a virgin. But we'll get to that.
She gonna get put to death.
Yeah, so we gotta we'll get that law later on, but right now we're just going straight down, and we'll break all that stuff down, add it on, so forth and so on. Let's get the next law, the 22nd law.
Verse 18, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
Plain and simple. Anybody who's dealing outside, doing enchantments and conjuring up spirits and dealing with all this other stuff that has nothing to do with the Father and the law, statute, commandments, they get put to death. You ain't supposed to suffer them to live. But once again, you need to do righteous judgment. You need to understand if this individual is actually doing these things. So discern, observe diligently, okay? Like I said, back in Judges 19 through 21, the tribe of Benjamin was almost fully wiped out because of no witnesses and basically off a lie. So that's dealing with righteous judgment. But let's get the next law.
Verse 19.
This is the 23rd law.
Whosoever lieth with a beast shall surely be put to death.
I'm sorry, read that again.
Whosoever lieth with a beast shall surely be put to death.
So when I looked this up and got the Hebrew for it, it tells you if you lay with it, I mean just having it in your bed, you're supposed to be put to death. If you have sex with it and stuff, that's bestiality. You're supposed to get put to death. So you're not supposed to have no animals laying in your bed, period. Okay? So, you know, like I said, you could check it on. Yeah, you could check it up on the Hebrew. You know, it'll tell you even with a small kitten, if it's laying in your bed, yo, get it out of there. Okay, and that's crazy. See, she said she didn't even know that and stuff. That's why it's important to go through these laws because this tells you your secret faults that you don't even know that you're committing, you're breaking. So let's get the next law. What did I say? The 23rd or no, the 24th.
Verse 20. He that sacrificed unto any god, save unto the Most High, only he shall be utterly destroyed.
So him only shall he be destroyed. So it's letting you know, if that man or that woman or that child is worshiping another god and things, they get put to death only. Not everybody around and things like that where you're holding them all, you know, what is that, a party to a crime and stuff, and everybody innocent ain't know what that person was doing and things. You know, like the system here, they lock you up for just being around somebody who sold drugs or whatever the case may be, but you wasn't selling anything. So him only or she only will be put to death for worshiping other gods. Or, excuse me, sacrificing to other gods. Verse 21. This would be the
25th.
Yeah.
Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him. For ye
shall not what?
Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him. For ye were strangers in the land of Egypt.
This is a law. This is a commandment. The Most High said, thou shalt not vex a stranger or oppress them, meaning slavery or treat them harshly and things like that. For we were once slaves in the land of Egypt. So it's clearly telling us if you guys is out there teaching that these nations can't be saved or whatever the case may be, this is the law right here letting you know. So I'm telling you right now, I know what it says in Obadiah, I know what it says in Ezekiel, I know what it says in Amos and things like that. Right now, I'm not caring about what they're saying because at that context, in that time, there's a reason why they're going to get put to death and things like that. But you have individual ones who want to keep the laws and serve this God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and give alms to the people, which are the chosen bloodline, the covenant, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the 12 tribes of blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos. You're supposed to treat them as if one was born unto you. And that's going to come up shortly here once we get it in things. But let's get the next law, verse 26. And before we do that, when we left out of Egypt, the mixed multitude came with us and stuff. And also you had Pharaoh and all the Egyptians. They was giving us money, treasures, food, everything. So with that being said, like, hey, we were once strangers in their land. So be the same way towards the ones that sojourn amongst you or that you come in contact with. I'm not telling you to trust them. All I'm saying is if they're coming to worship the Most High, deal with them righteously. Don't sit there and impress them or treat badly. Okay? Let's get the next law.
Verse 23. No, verse 22.
The 26th law.
26th law, yep. Verse 22, you shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child.
You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child, meaning treat them harshly, make fun of them. Like, where's your daddy at? You don't got your daddy in your life. Oh, your husband wasn't nothing. Or this, that, and the other. That's why he dead and things like that. Saying harsh things. Watch what's going to happen. Go ahead.
If thou afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. And in my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless.
See that? So what goes around comes around. Don't do that. Check yourself. Check your mouth. Watch what you say. Think before you speak. You don't know the situation of why such and such may happen or whatever the case may be. That's not for you to sit there and down talk and belittle your own brethren and sisters out here. Okay? Let's get the next one.
Verse 25, this is 27th law.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 25, if thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury.
So, if thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. So basically saying somebody is poor and they really need help to pay this bill or whatever, and you guys agree on, okay, I'm gonna give I need $200, and you agree to give him, $200 and stuff. When it comes around to paying him $200 and stuff, you don't sit there and say, well, it took you a while, so I'm charging you $350. You added $150 to the original agreement that you gave to him to lend.
No interest.
Right, no interest whatsoever. And what does PSL or
PSL?
Yeah, the loan stores, all the banks, everything here in America, they charge you with usury all the time. That's why you can't get nowhere. It's all it's all about making money and things.
So this system built off disobedience.
100%. That's why everything's backwards here. Student loans, all these things. Everything you could possibly think of. So we ain't supposed to deal with our people like that anyways, neither. These other nations, they do it to us because it's a curse. And that's the reason why we need to have our own things, our own community, so forth and so on. So when we have these things, then we can keep these laws according to what it is. Now, I can't do that right now. I don't own anything. You own anything? No. Do you guys own any manufacturers, corporations, or anything? Banks?
Yeah.
No. So to those who are reading this or watching this who said, well, we can't keep all the laws. Well, by default, you're already keeping them because you don't have the things to keep them. Okay, so it's already, you're keeping them. But when you have these things, then you're going to be held accountable to be keeping these things. But I see a lot of people, what they do is that they don't want to read the other half of the book, or they cherry pick which laws because they don't want to be held accountable. So in the day of judgment, they'd be like, I didn't know that. You can't hold that against me. And it's like, nah,
But it's a commandment to study to show thyself approved.
Yep. What's it? 2 Timothy 2 and 15. Yep. So you're going to be held accountable if you think you're getting away with that.
And it's saying Proverbs, seek wisdom.
See?
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's what we need to do. Let's get the next one here.
The 28th, I think, or the
Oops.
20. I think it's 28th.
Let me get it.
Law.
Who was that? 26? Or was
Mhm.
it verse 26?
That was verse 25.
Okay, yeah. So verse
26.
Yep.
And what law number?
The 28th.
Verse 26, the 28th law. If thou at all take thy neighbor's raiment to pledge, thou shalt deliver it unto him. By that the sun goeth down.
So if you borrow clothes and stuff, okay, return it back to them before the sun goes down. Plain and simple. Okay. Keep reading.
For verse 27, for that is his covering only, it is his raiment for his skin, wherein shall he sleep, and it shall come to pass when he crieth unto me that I will hear, for I am gracious.
See that? So basically, return it back to him. So in a sense, if you don't return it back to him, it's like you stealing. Okay, that's only his clothes. That's his own clothes to cover up his own body and stuff. You know, help him out. Like he had the love to help you out. So okay, just return it back. So let's say maybe you got to go to work or something. You need a tie. You need a whatever for working these corporations and stuff. You need a suit. Okay, I wear the same size you do. Okay, here you go. You know, go handle your business. Or if you need to go to work and this is what you need to have, and that's the only suit you have until you make enough money to buy your own suits, then okay, each day bring me my stuff back to me, you know, so I can wash it, whatever, things like that. If you need it again, I'll give it to you the next day or whatever, but return it, okay? Just don't get comfortable and keep it for yourself, okay? That's stealing, all right? Let's get the next one. Verse 29th law, verse 28.
Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people.
Nice.
Verse 28.
Read that again.
Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people.
So in this sense, the word gods, it's not gods, it's judges. So you're not supposed to disrespect the judges of your people or the rulers over you and things. They're set up for a reason. Okay? This is the reason why the judges are set up. This is the reason why, you know, your king is set up. Don't talk bad about them. Okay? Even if they did some wicked things or whatever the case may be, keep that out your mind. Don't even let it escape your lip. Let them do what they're going to do. The Most High is going to take care of all of that. All right? Let's keep reading the 30th law. I'm sorry.
Verse 29. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits and of thy liquors, the firstborn of thy son shalt thou give unto me.
Read that again, Art.
Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits.
Ripe fruits.
Ripe fruits, and of thy liquors, the firstborn of thy son shalt thou give unto me.
So we coming up on the Feast of First Fruits, the holy day. Everything that goes, like for instance, like with Abel, his sacrifice, he gave the best of his flocks. Those are the firstlings and things when he gave it to the Most High. Cain didn't give the best of his crops. That's why his stuff wasn't. It was rejected. So it goes all the way down. The first fruits, the first livestock, it all belongs to the Father. The firstborn sons, those are the princes of Israel. They belong to the Father. Okay, they're redeemed. That's why it's so important. Why Christ was given up to us and so forth and so on. So we have to give this. You can't delay in it. This belongs to the Father. Okay, so you're playing around with the Most High here. But go ahead, verse 30.
Yep. Likewise, thou shalt do with thine ox and with thy sheep. 7 days it shall be with his dam. On the 8th day thou shalt give it to me.
So the dam meaning right there is talking about their mother. Okay, that's why, like it says, on the 8th day for us we're supposed to be circumcised and things like that, because that's a covenant between us that the Most High made with Abraham that we must do to be clean. Okay, so same thing. Firstlings, your ox, your sheep, your cattle, your livestock, your crops, and the firstborn sons. They belong to the father. Okay. Let's get the next law here. Verse
31. This is a 31 law.
Yeah.
And ye should be a holy man unto me. Neither shall ye eat any flesh that is torn of beasts in the field. Ye shall cast it to the dogs.
So if you find any animals in the field, any clean animals, meaning edible, eatable animals, that's due to the Leviticus chapter 11, the dietary law, and Deuteronomy 14:2, all the way down, the dietary laws. If you find a clean animal, like a sheep that's torn and things like that, like, man, I ain't finna let this food go to waste. Nah, it's torn by another beast and stuff. Don't eat of it. Give it to the dogs, the scavengers. Leave it there, because you don't know what that animal was carrying. It's a unclean animal too. You got the saliva and all the meats and stuff, and you don't know where their mouth been. They're scavengers and things, so the meat is tainted. Not to mention, you don't know how long it's been sitting there. So don't touch it. Don't eat it. It even tells you become unclean. All right, so that was the 31st law. Let's get the 32nd law. Let's start at Exodus chapter 23, verse 1.
All right. Exodus chapter 23, verse 1. This is the 32nd law.
Yeah, 32nd, I'm sorry.
Thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thy hand with the wicked to be unrighteous to be unrighteous witness.
To be an unrighteous witness. So it's telling you, you got, like, for instance, Christ sat there. He had plenty of unrighteous witnesses who the Pharisees and the Sadducees bought out to bring a false accusation against Christ and things. So they paid them and things like that. So they done wicked and things. This is a law, especially dealing with demon book, little Facebook and stuff. You have individuals talking up a whole bunch of stuff, putting all your business out there. Everybody becomes busybodies and things. Next thing you know, you're believing this man because you known him for years, or this woman, you know her for years and stuff, and y'all so comfortable, y'all act like family, blah, 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 blah. And they talking mad stuff, lying on everybody, creating false witnesses, so forth and so on. Now the whole nation is not liking this individual because of the lies that you said. You understand? But let's keep reading. The 33rd law.
Verse 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrestle judgment.
So thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrestle judgment. So basically, like we said, you're following a multitude of people that you just, because you're cool with them and stuff, or whatever the case may be, and they all wicked and stuff and things like that. And you're following them to cast judgment on somebody you don't even know. They don't know the whole cause, and so forth and so on. You ain't dealing with righteous balances. You're not dealing with righteous judgment. So you're sitting here about to execute something on somebody that you don't even know. You're just following these people because they seem true. They seem righteous. They seem good. They're well spoken and things like that. So next thing you know, here it is. You can cast judgment on somebody and ended up either murdering them, stealing from them, or coveting them, or taking the Most High's name in vain, and all this and that and the other. And they're swearing all up and down on the Most High. And yet here it is. You're going to swear with them because y'all just buddies. That's another thing. Demon Book does that for little Facebook and social media and stuff like that, even just walking in public. That's what they do with things. Let's keep reading. Let's get the 34th law.
Verse 3. Neither shall thou countenance a poor man in his cause.
Read that again.
Neither shall thou countenance a poor man in his cause.
So basically saying, don't talk down on a man because of his situation who's poor. You don't know why he's poor. Don't make fun of him. Don't sit there and antagonize them and things like that. Because once again, that's why it tells you, I think it's Hebrews. As a matter of fact, let's get it. Go to Hebrews. Hold that. Go to Hebrews 13 and 2. Or start at verse 1. Start at verse 1.
Verse 4?
Verse 1.
All right. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 1. Let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares.
So that's it on that. So it's letting you don't know if that poor man might be an angel. You don't know. Heck, for all you know, it could have been the Messiah if that was the case. And back then when he was walking the earth, they didn't even know him because he was so poor and things like that. They was looking like, man, who's this dude? He raggedy looking, he ugly looking, he ain't even tall and stuff. He ain't got no value to him. He's just speaking and stuff. What can he do for us and things like that? So he can't be of God. He ain't got a 3-piece suit on. He ain't got a $1 million church. He ain't driving the best whip out there and things like that. Got the best, in this term, chariots. You know what I'm saying? So you just going down looking because he looked poor. Don't do that to them. You don't know. Be mindful of what you say to people out here on the streets. You don't know who you're dealing with. It could be an angel for all you know. You don't know. That's why you should keep that in mind. That's what gives humbleness and meekness to self. So that's why these laws is important. And a lot of our people who sit there, look. Esau over there, he dying in his stuff. Look at Elam, he over there. Look at Ishmael, they poor as ever. Ha. And this whole time, you never know. The Most High could have made them angels to sit there and record what you've been doing and stuff. The fact that it may be your enemy still, you need to know the perfect love for thy enemy. When Christ said, pray for thy enemy, love thy enemy. You know where he was getting that from? You need to start reading on David. Go back to 1 Kings and stuff and see how he was treating his enemies. We'll do a lesson on that as well. But a lot of y'all just like, nope, gun ho. The heck with all these other nations, they all going to die, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And forgetting the whole fact that, hey, you missing the main principles and the main foundation, which is the law, because you ain't been taught it yet. So that's why we're going through this right now. But anyways, read that one more time back in Exodus. Verse
3.
Yeah.
Neither shall thou countenance a poor man in his cause.
Okay. So let's get the 35th law. Next verse.
Okay. Verse 4. If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again.
Wait a second. So even your own enemy, if his animals, his livestock go astray and you know it, you're supposed to return it back to him? So Esau, Ishmael, Moab, Philistines, Canaanites, Egyptians, Cushites, any other Jebusites, Japhet, whatever. You're supposed to give their animals back to them if it goes astray. So in a sense today, if you see somebody dropping a wall and it's your enemy and stuff, you're supposed to return that back to them. Okay? So it's letting us know right here, see? These laws are straight cut through. No more of these doctrines. They straight cut through. They're teaching you what you need to do. This is the humbleness and the meekness. That's why Christ said, that's why we started in the beginning saying all the other scriptures, what Christ said concerning me in the prophets and in the Psalms and in the laws of Moses concerning him. This is how you're supposed to be. The guidelines. Okay? Let's get the next verse, which is
5.
And this is 36 law. Go ahead.
If thou see the ass of him that hateth thee lying under his burden, and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him.
Read that again.
If thou see the ass of him that hateth thee lying under his burden, and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him.
So it's letting you know when it says lying under his burden. So if even their animal is wounded or something like that, you just don't let it sit there and die. You're supposed to help him, help that animal, and return it back on. So give a hand still, because you kill. The old saying that you kill wicked or evilness with kindness or whatever. So that's what that's what's showing you right here. That's that saying. So even if you see your enemy's animal and stuff in hurt and things, go help them, because you'll gain a friend. He won't be your enemy no more, even though it's another nation. He'll still help you out and stuff. He'll look out for you. You might be in need sometime, And that's who the Most High will use to help you through. That's why it tells you in Revelations when the woman was in the wilderness and was hiding from the great beasts and everything, and it opened its mouth and let all the waters, all the blasphemies and things like this to take out the woman in the wilderness, which is Israel. The earth opened its mouth to swallow those up, to help the women in the wilderness, which is the world. You're going to have help from these other nations who's going to help you in things. That's who the Most High uses. But you're going to sit there and turn down the other nation because they another nation? Come on. Stop it. But anyways, let's get the 37th law. let's get the 37th law.
Verse 6. Thou shalt not wrestle the judgment of thy poor in his cause.
Can you just read that?
That was above. That was verse 3.
Oh, okay. Read that again. I'm sorry.
Verse 6. What was this?
The 37th.
Thou shalt not wrestle the judgment of thy poor in his cause.
So basically saying, if a poor man is asking for $1, right, or some food, whatever the case may be, it's majority of the time it's money. You don't sit there and cause in your mind to sit there and say, well, man, I ain't finna give my money to him. He probably gonna go smoke it, or he probably gonna go drink it off and things like that. You're not supposed to judge like that. You don't understand what's going on with this individual. If they ask and you have it, give it. Okay? Don't sit there and be like, man, now I'm not saying like, yo, do ask for $100 and he's straight poor, like, yeah, kind of, but the fact of the matter is, whatever that individual is asking, the majority of the times it's like, hey, can you help me with some money on the bus, or to get on the L, or to get some food or something like that, and you got the means to do it. Help them. Don't sit there and be like, man, he probably gonna go smoke it or something. No, don't do that. Okay, verse 38. I'm sorry, the 38th law, verse 7.
Verse 7. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not, for I would not justify the wicked.
Read that one more time, man.
Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and the righteous slay thou not, for I would not justify the wicked.
See that? So stay away from individuals who's sitting there doing wicked stuff, who want to sit there and continually keep, saying, false matters, lying and stuff. Don't be around them individuals that do that, because if you do, then you're going to sit there and, latch on and do the same thing. They're teaching you bad habits. So don't keep in company those individuals like that, okay? Let's get the next law, verse 39th law.
Verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blinded the wise, and perverted the words of the righteous.
So basically it's letting you know, again, watch out for individuals who give gifts and things like that, meaning they trying to give you a gift to win you over because they perverse or they're wicked and stuff, and then all of a sudden you're going to, lose all your, be knocked off your square of knowledge and wisdom and understanding of the Most High and the laws and things, and you're just going to take them because they gave you some money or whatever the case may be. Okay? You don't know where that money is coming from, or if that person is clean or wicked or whatever the case may be. People got spirits on that, and when they send it to you and stuff, you taking them spirits on. As a matter of fact, let's get an example. Let's go to 2 Kings. Hold that. We'll go to 2 Kings 5 and verse 20. And this is Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, not Elijah, Elisha. And we'll see why you shouldn't receive gifts. Alms is different. Gifts is totally different. This I'm just giving an understanding on. Go ahead.
2 Kings chapter 5 verse 20. But Gehazi, how you pronounce it?
Gehazi.
Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of the Most High, said, Behold, my master has spared Naaman, this Syrian, and not receiving at his hands that which he brought. But as the Most High liveth, I will run after him, and take somewhat of him.
So basically, the gift was going to be given to Elisha for purifying him of leprosy when he told him to dip himself 7 times in the Jordan and stuff. But he didn't want to take the gift because this man was a leper. Okay, there was an understanding with that, and plus the glory went to the Father, went to the Most High. Excuse me. So keep reading.
So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him and said, "Is all well?" And he said, "All is well. My master has sent me, saying, Behold, even..." So he just lied.
Yeah. He lied, yeah.
"Behold, even now there be come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophet. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments." And Naaman said, "Be content, take 2 talents." And he urged him, and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of garments, and laid them up on 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them in the house. And he let the men go, and they departed. But he went in and stood before his master. And Elisha said unto him, "Whence comest thou, Gehazi?" And he said, "Thy servant went nowhere."
So he lied again. Dude, he lying like crazy. You're going to see what happens, but go ahead.
And he said unto him, "Went not my heart with thee when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and men servants and maid servants? The leprosy thereof of Naaman shall cleave unto thee and unto thy seed forever." And he went out from his presence a leper as white as snow.
See that? So all this stuff, because it wasn't time to receive these things. It wasn't the whole fact of the matter. The gift that he was trying to give Elisha, he knew not to touch because he was a leper. There's even a purification of dealing with certain things with a leper and stuff. You're not supposed to really touch any of their stuff. And if you have a house, like in the land when we got it, they had to clean down the walls, everything. And then the Levites, the priests, would go in to make sure that, you know, they could tell if the leprosy was gone or not. So you weren't supposed to touch things of a leopard and things. But this gift that he was trying to give, Elisha knew at that time he was about to, you know, you were supposed to teach the people, return them back to the Father and stuff. And his servant, Gehazi, who little greedy butt, wanted to go after it anyway. So letting that be, this is what destroyed his whole mind, his heart, the focus of what he was supposed to have been doing and stuff for the Abba. And that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted all those material things instead of doing the things and not even knowing the fact that he was already being blessed with these things. So don't receive these things, okay? People want to give alms just cause and things like that. Alms is different from a gift. So that's why it's telling you back in the law, it will destroy a man's heart, okay? We can get one more. Let's go to Matthew. Let's go to Matthew 26. We'll keep the law, but I'm just breaking this down. We'll go to Matthew 26 and verse 14. So people don't think I'm only Torah on here and stuff. They think, oh, he's brother, he an Old Testament brother now. I deal with the whole book.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 14. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went in unto the chief priest.
Chief priest. So you got the Pharisees calling Judas in like, hey, yo, come here. We got something for you. Okay? Keep reading.
And said unto them, what will ye give me? And I will deliver him up unto you. And thy covenant with him for 30 pieces of silver. And from that time he sought opportunities to betray him.
You see that? And took him completely off the whole work of the Abba. Took him off the path to do wicked and stuff because of a gift. Hey, yo, we got 30 pieces of silver for you, my dude. Yo, hey fam, yo. All you just got to do is just point. That's it. And don't even know the intentions of what they're trying to do. You just see 30 pieces of silver. Oh yeah, well this is This is Yeshaya right here. This is Yahweh right here. Okay, my bad. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you know, you don't know the intent behind it. So you just sold out the Messiah for 30 pieces of silver. You see that? Let's get one more. Go to Matthew's 27 and start at verse 3 down to 10.
Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned in that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, what is that to us? See thou to that. And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged himself. And the chief priest took the silver pieces and said, it is not lawful for to put them into the treasury, because it is the price of blood.
You see that? You see how dirty they were? They made him sell out, and then going to use the law of saying this is unclean. We ain't taking that gift back. It was a gift to you. We don't want that back. It got blood on there. You know what I'm saying? That's how dirty they were. That's why you don't accept no gifts, because you don't know the intentions of what that individual may try to do to sell out their brother or their sister and stuff. You see? You got to be very mindful. That's why it talks about the spirit of discernment and stuff. You really need to observe and pay attention to people's intents, their agendas and stuff. Watch what they say. See the patterns in themselves. Okay? But let's keep reading to verse 10. Keep going.
And they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Wherefore that field was called the field of blood unto this day. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, and they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of him that was valued, whom they of the children of Israel did value, and gave them for the potter's field, as the Most High appointed me.
See? So they even took the pieces of silver and hid it in the field. They dug it because it was unclean. You see how bogus they are? And that field till today is called the bloody field of what they did and everything. So it's like, don't take these gifts. Watch out. Okay? They're dirty. They're unclean. So we gave you one in the New Testament, one in the Old, examples of unclean things going back to the law. That's the precept. Okay? That's how you get thorough understanding. But let's keep reading. Let's go back to Exodus. Where were we at? 23 and verse 8. The 40th law, the next verse. Verse 10, excuse me. Start at verse 10. Exodus 23 and 10.
We ain't read verse.
No, I skip. I know. I'm skipping that.
Okay. And 6 years shalt thou sow thy land, and shall gather in the fruits thereof.
And real quick, verse 9 is talking about, again, also thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for he know the heart of a stranger, seeing ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. So that's a continuation of what we read earlier about vexing. So that's not counted as a law. So don't count that. It's already counted in the earlier verses and stuff as a law. Okay? That's the reason why we skipped it. But go ahead. Verse 10, read verse 10 again.
And 6 years shalt thou sow thy land, and shall gather in the fruits thereof.
So six years, you should gather all your fruits and stuff. You have plenty of stockhouses, food, so forth and so on, fruits and vegetables. Go ahead.
But on the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat, and what they leave the beasts of the field shall eat. In like manner thou shalt deal with thy vineyard and with thy olive yard.
See that? So you're supposed to give on the 7th year, let it rest, because you'll have animals coming in to eat. You'll have the poor coming in to eat. They're supposed to eat that, and it'll get into more full detail about the poor, the stranger, the widow, the fatherless, how they can eat these things as well. So that's why it says don't glean everything to yourself. Leave some for everybody. Stop being selfish. But go ahead. Let's switch.
Verse 12.
Verse 12. Yeah. No, go to, is it 11?
Yeah, that was 11.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You need 5? We just got 5 more. Okay. Read verse 12. I'm sorry.
6 days shalt thou do thy work, and on the 7th day thou shalt rest, that thine ox and thy ass may rest, and the son of thy handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed.
So basically, it's the Shabbat again. Rest. Okay. Verse 13, which is the 41st law.
And in all, verse 13, and in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth.
So don't even mention other gods. Any deities and things, don't even mention them. Okay.
Don't mention white Jesus.
No, don't even. Well, yeah, Sager Bowes, yeah. But yeah. As a matter of fact, us teaching them, you shouldn't even have to talk about the Egyptian gods or the Greek gods, the Roman gods, or any Hindu gods and things like that. Don't even make mention of them. Don't even mention their names. Don't even let them be utter out of your mouth. If you're reading what's in here and it speaks on a certain God that people worship, that's just right here for teaching and edifying.
Historical.
Right. But other than that, don't even have conversations with individuals they want to talk about.
Whoever.
Look, I'm about to break it right now.
That's why I helped you. Whoever.
Yeah, whoever. That's why I was just like, yeah, let's read that one more time.
And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. Verse 14.
So that's it on that verse. This is the 42nd law, and give chapter and verse.
Exodus chapter 23, verse 14. 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year. Verse 15. Thou shalt keep the feast of the unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I have commanded thee, in the time appointed of the month Abib. For in it thou camest out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. Verse 16. And the feast of harvest, the first fruits of thy labor, which thou hast sown in the fields, and the feast of ingathering, which is the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field.
So these are 3 feasts also, which are holy days, holy convocations that we're supposed to keep on to the Most High, that we're supposed to continue to keep doing every year. Not Christmas, not Thanksgiving, not Halloween, not the 4th of July, not Valentine's Day, not Sweetie's Day, not Mother's Day, not Father's Day, not, all these stupid, wicked pagan days and stuff. No, we're supposed to follow the holy days, which is written in the Bible. If you claim that you worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you believe in his son, which some will still say Christ Jesus today, or Hamashiach Yeshua, we say in the Hebrew, or Yahweh Shai, or Yeshua, you're supposed to follow this. Don't mix that with them pagan holidays. Okay?
I ain't never heard the 4th of July.
Yeah.
4th of July. 4th of
Yeah.
July.
The 4th of July. Yeah. So,
Easter.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. So we gotta follow these laws, these holy days. Verse 17, which would be the 43rd law. Verse 17.
Oh, okay. Verse 17. 3 times in the year all thy males shall appear before the Most High.
No, all thy women.
3 times a year, 3 times in the year all thy males shall appear before the Most High.
No, all thy children.
All thy males shall appear
before the Most High. The males are the ones that give these offerings to the Most High. The males, okay? It's strictly telling you, 3 times in a year, all thy males shall appear before the Most High God. Verse, let's get the 45th law.
Verse 18. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning.
So, don't offer blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread. Okay? Don't put the blood of sacrifices up there with leavened bread. It's supposed to be unleavened. Okay? That's part of the showbread when we get further on to the Levitical laws and things like that. And then the fat of the animals is supposed to all be burnt off. You don't eat it. goes into details when we get into Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy and things. So we're going to end it right here because it's been an hour and 4 minutes. So I'm going to have to piece the first part a little bit together of this lesson, of the third part, because I hit escape on my computer, so it stopped the video. So I'll put that on there and then add this in, so it could be one. So anyways, that's all we have to say today, so we'll build with you later, all right? Brother Ezekiel.
Brother Hadar.
And we say Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.